Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Barenfeld. I'm Brandon Barenfeld. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 82 of Hockey on the Spot. I apologize for the late upload of episode 81. That one took forever to process, so I think it just finished processing this morning or something like that. So anyway, though, it's uploaded, so you guys can now check it out. And now let's get down to the most important episode right now, which is episode 82. Starting with an update on the Edmonton Oilers and forward Taylor Hall, who got hurt in a game not too long ago. He will miss 4 weeks with a left knee injury. This is a huge loss for the Oilers, as he had been their best player all season long. Detroit Red Wings defenseman Jonathan Ericsson will miss 2 to 3 weeks with a shoulder injury. Meanwhile, Niklas Kronwall underwent tests for a concussion and could be cleared by today, actually. The Ottawa Senators have recalled Mika Zibanejad from the Binghamton Senators. This is a big call-up for them. I'm surprised he wasn't with them at the start of the year, but he's with them now, and honestly, they really need him in my personal opinion. So we'll see how that works out. Philadelphia Flyers captain Claude Giroux guarantees that the Philadelphia Flyers, who sit at the bottom of the league with a 1-7-0 record, will make the playoffs. The Flyers, along with the New York Rangers, have scored a league-low 11 goals. Their top names like Claude Giroux, Jakub Voracek, Sean Couturier, Matt Reed, and Scott Hartnell all have less goals than Phoenix Coyotes goaltender Mike Smith, which is absolutely disgraceful for forwards to have less goals than a goaltender, especially star talent like Giroux. So hopefully they can get their season turned around. Dallas Stars forward Ryan Garbutt had in-person hearing, which allows for 5+ games for his hit on Anaheim Ducks forward Dustin Penner, will take place today at 11 a.m., which is well deserving of a suspension in my opinion. Toronto media is reporting that the Leafs are in talks with the Florida Panthers about acquiring the services of defenseman Dmitry Kulikov. New Panthers owner Vincent Viola wants success along with GM Dale Talon. And along with GM Dale Talon is prepared to do anything to win, including making many of their players available. Meanwhile, Edmonton media is reporting that the Oilers are not done making moves of their own and are very interested in forward Sean Matthias. So, the Florida Panthers now a big target for the trade market. So, we'll see how that turns out. Detroit Red Wings defenseman Jonathan Ericsson was a scratch in the game the other night versus the San Jose Sharks to be with his wife while she was in labor. Ericsson's wife has given birth to a baby girl who, as confirmed by Ericsson, has been named Liv in memory of his late friend Stefan Liv, a Red Wings prospect who lost his life in the Yaroslava plane crash. So congratulations to Jonathan Ericsson on his accomplishment. Hopefully he has a great life ahead of him, especially after hockey. Vancouver Canucks forward David Booth, who carries a $4.25 million cap hit, was a healthy scratch last night against the New York Islanders. It's quite the message, as Booth is one of only 12 healthy forwards on the Canucks' current road trip. Former Philadelphia Flyers forward Simon Gagne has decided that he will retire if he doesn't receive an NHL contract offer in the next few weeks. Gagne had been hoping for a contract with the Flyers, as GM Paul Holmgren had promised all offseason before backing out to try to sign Red Wings forward Dan Cleary. Honestly, though, it would be a great opportunity now for Gagne to be signed, because they lost out on Cleary. They're the worst team in the league. They need offense. I think Gagne could bring that to them. So I think Gagne getting a 1-year deal with the Flyers would make a whole lot of sense right now. San Jose Sharks defenseman Brent Burns, otherwise known as Sasquatch, Grizzly Adams, and Wookiees, will get a buzz cut and shave his beard on November 1st for 2 charities. Defending the Blue Line, and Katie Moore Foundation. From now until October 31st, the Sharks Foundation will be accepting donations with the goal of raising $5,000 for each of these worthwhile charities. Fans who donate $50 or more will receive signed before/after photos of Burns, while the top 3 donors will have the chance to meet him and witness the shaving in person. So, great charity for Brent Burns and the Sharks to be a part of. So, we'll see how that feels. Panthers goaltender Tim Thomas left last night's game versus the Chicago Blackhawks with what appears to be a groin injury. Jacob Markstrom ended up coming in as a relief in the game that went to overtime. We'll talk more about that. Anaheim Ducks forward Teemu Selanne on Montreal. It's another city like Toronto that you can feel how horny the people are for hockey, and that's awesome. A comment he made about Montreal, very interesting one by the Finnish Flash. And then Washington Capital, Minnesota Wild defenseman Jonas Brodin was taken to the hospital during last night's game to get X-rays after getting a puck to the face. So hopefully he's okay, and because the Wild definitely need him. And then the last but certainly not least, the Calgary Flames have a tough choice to make as Sean Monahan has played his 9th NHL game. Do they keep him in Calgary or send him back to the Ontario Hockey League? Honestly, with the way he's played, he deserves to stay. That's just my opinion. He deserves to stay. And if the Flames send him down now, that'll be a big mistake. So, that is all the updates for today. Now let's get to the games. 8 games last night, so quite a few to talk about. Starting with the Anaheim Ducks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Ducks looking to set a franchise record for longest win streak in franchise history. That almost happened. They had a 2-0 lead in the game, but a boarding penalty to Corey Perry that should not have even been called sent the wrong message to the team, allowing them to blow a 2-0 lead and lose the game by a final score of 4-2. Just their second loss of the year. After the Ducks scored 2 goals, it was all Leafs, particularly forward Phil Kessel, who hadn't scored in 4 games, ended up getting a hat trick in last night's game, the 4th of his career, starting with a power play goal assisted by James Van Riemsdyk and Cody Franson. That was Phil Kessel's first goal. After that, before Kessel would get the next 2 goals, the captain, Dion Phaneuf, would convert his second of the year, assisted by Josh Levo, his first NHL assist, and Dave Bolland. Then Phil Kessel would finish up the hat trick. The first goal assisted by Paul Ranger, and the second goal assisted by James Van Riemsdyk. Jonathan Bernier was solid in goal, making 23 saves and 25 shots and .920 save percentage. By the way, and also big notification to Leafs fans, this is the final game of David Clarkson's long 10-game suspension, so he should be making his Toronto Maple Leafs debut in his next game. So good news for the Calgary Flames. For the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anaheim Ducks goals being scored by Nick Bonino, assisted by Patrick Maroon and Jakob Silverberg. And then Matthew Perreault would score the second goal, assisted by Sammy Vatanen and Emerson Edom. Jonas Hiller would get the start in net, and didn't really let up any bad goals, but still didn't make a lot of saves. Just 19 saves on 23 shots, an .826 save percentage. James Reimer and Frederick Anderson, obviously the backups. So congratulations to the Toronto Maple Leafs on a huge win, especially against a team that is just suffering its second loss of the season. Next, we have the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Islanders on Long Island. John Tortorella returns to the Coliseum. Returns to the Coliseum and gets a win off it. 5-4 in overtime in favor of the Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks. For the Vancouver Canucks, they would dress 7 defensemen in the game with David Booth being a healthy scratch. The Islanders did take a 2-0 lead in the game, as well as a 3-2 lead, but Vancouver stayed strong in the game. Vancouver goals being scored by Ryan Kessler, assisted by Dan Hamhuis and Chris Tanev. Then Daniel Sedin would get up on the board, assisted by Jannik Hansen and Chris Tanev. Then Henrik Sedin would get up on the board, assisted by Daniel Sedin and Dale Weiss. Then Chris Higgins would get his third of the year, assisted by Kevin Bieksa and Ryan Kessler. And then in overtime, Brad Richardson, of all players, getting the overtime winner, his fourth of the year, assisted by Mike Santorelli and Alexander Edler. Brad Richardson having a fine season with the Vancouver Canucks right now. Roberto Luongo obviously getting the start in net. 28 saves on 32 shots and .875 save percentage. So solid, but not great. For the New York Islanders, their goals being scored by Brock Nelson, assisted by Peter Regan and Cal Clutterbuck, who apparently just played his 6th game of the season. I did not realize that Clutterbuck had played 5 games previously, probably because he didn't do too much in those first 5 games. This is his first point of the year, his first assist of the year, and his first point in a New York Islanders sweater. And for Brock Nelson, congratulations to him as he scores his first NHL goal. Next, the Islanders would get themselves a power play goal scored by Matt Moulson, one of 2 goals in the game and one of 2 power play goals in the game by Matt Moulson, assisted by Franz Nielsen and John Tavares. The second one would be assisted by Kyle Oposo and Franz Nielsen. And then Franz Nielsen would get a goal assisted by Andrew McDonald and Kyle Oposo. So, a couple guys on the Islanders with multi-point performances. Franz Nielsen, most notable, a goal and 2 assists. And for Evgeny Nabokov, same kind of performance as Roberto Luongo. Luongo had 28 saves on 32 shots and .875 save percentage. For Nabokov, 28 saves on 33 shots, a .848 save percentage. Michael Grabner, obviously not in the lineup, serving a 2-game suspension. So congratulations to the Vancouver Canucks. Islanders will get a point out of this. Islanders got a point out of it, but not the win. Congrats to the Vancouver Canucks. Next, we have the New Jersey Devils and the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Devils finally getting their first win of the season against the New York Rangers the other night. Looking to build off that game, could not do it, as they suffer a dismal 4-1 loss to the hands of the Columbus Blue Jackets in Columbus. After a scoreless first period, the Devils would take a 1-0 lead, but after that, and they looked like they were in good shape, but after that, it was all Columbus, starting with a power play goal by Brandon Dubinsky, the former New York Ranger, assisted by R.J. Umberger and James Wisniewski. Then Cam Atkinson would score a beautiful backhand goal from the point unassisted. Then James Wisniewski would get his first of the year unassisted. And then last but not least, another former New York Ranger, Marian Gaborik, would get his 4th of the year on an empty net goal, assisted by Brandon Dubinsky and James Wisniewski. So James Wisniewski, an unbelievable performance, a goal and 2 assists. Same with Brandon Dubinsky, a goal and an assist. And same can be said for the goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky. 24 saves and 25 shots, and .960 save percentage. He was brilliant. So congratulations to him. Like I said, though, the New Jersey Devils did have a 1-0 lead in the game. Michael Ryder scoring the only goal for them on the power play, assisted by Jaromir Jagr and Rostislav Olish. Corey Schneider would get the starting goal and made 20 saves on 23 shots and .870 save percentage. So, not bad, but not great. So, congratulations to the to the Columbus Blue Jackets. New Jersey Devils also, by the way, had Damian Brunner back for this game, but not Patrick Elias. So again, congratulations to the Columbus Blue Jackets on a huge win. Next, we have the Edmonton Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal. The Oilers coming up big with a 4-3 victory. Montreal took a 2-0 lead in the game, but after that it was all Edmonton. Edmonton Oilers goals being scored by Ales Hemsky, assisted by Marco Arcobello. Then Ladislav Schmid would convert his first of the season, assisted by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jordan Eberle. Then Jeff Petrie would get his second of the year, assisted by, once again, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jordan Eberle. And then the game-winning goal, Ryan Jones, who had been waived at one point during the year, would get his first of the year, the game-winning goal, assisted by David Perron and Marco Arcobello. Marco Arcobello has been a playmaking machine. Devin Dubnyk was good. 29 saves and 32 shots, a .906 save percentage. Looks like things are starting to come together a bit for the Edmonton Oilers. Ryan Smith did not play in the game, by the way. Ryan Smith did not play in the game. He is out with an injury, unfortunately. For the Montreal Canadiens, their goals being scored by Thomas Plekanec, a power play goal assisted by Andrei Markov, and Michael Bournival, who was recently told that he would be with the team for the rest of the season. Then Brendan Gallagher would get an unassisted goal, and then with 3 seconds left in the game, the captain, Brian Gionta, would get his second of the year, assisted by Thomas Plekanec and PK Subban. Carey Price would get the start in net and made 28 saves on 32 shots, an .875 save percentage, shots even in the game. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, how about him, continuing to play fantastic, and obviously the Oilers were without Taylor Hall for this game. So congratulations to the Edmonton Oilers. Next, we have the Chicago Blackhawks and the Florida Panthers. Again, bad news for Florida Panthers fans as they lose goaltender Tim Thomas in this game. He is out with yet another injury. Jake Markstrom had to come in relief. But anyway, a big win, 3-2 in a shootout for the defending Stanley Cup champs. For the Chicago Blackhawks, they had a 2-0 lead, let slip away, but then won in a shootout. Chicago goals being scored by Jonathan Toews on the power play, assisted by Duncan Keith and Patrick Kane. And then Brian Bickle would get his second of the year, assisted by Andrew Shaw and Nicholas Chalmerson. For the Florida Panthers, their goals coming from Thomas Fleischmann, assisted by Alexander Barkov and Chris Versteeg. Chris Versteeg, the former Hawk. And then Dmitry Kulikov would get his first of the season unassisted. In the shootout, Jonathan Toews and Patrick Sharp would both convert for the Hawks. Patrick Kane was the other shooter for the Hawks. For the Panthers, they went with Jonathan Huberdeau and Brad Boyes and failed to score. Not too many penalties, of course, in this game. Corey Crawford got the start in net for Chicago and made 20 saves on 22 shots, a .909 save percentage. For the Panthers, again, Tim Thomas got the start, making 25 saves on 27 shots, a .926 save percentage. But with 3 minutes to go in the game, left the game with an injury. Jake Markstrom had to make 2 more saves, and he made both of them. But could not get it done in the shootout, however. So congratulations to the Chicago Blackhawks, and hopefully Tim Thomas returns healthy. Next, we have the Nashville Predators and the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota. 2-0 victory for the Minnesota Wild. Congratulations to them. Goals scored by Justin Fontaine, assisted by Clayton Stoner and Zach Parise. And then Jason Pominville would get an empty netter, assisted by Mikko Koivu and Zach Parise. 2 assists for Zach Parise. Josh Harding didn't face much, but led the way to a 16-save shutout. So congratulations to him. Pekka Rinne would make 27 saves on 28 shots, a 964 save percentage. Congratulations to the Minnesota Wild. Next, we have the Washington Capitals and the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg. The rematch from the Craftville Hockey Challenge from this past preseason. Washington Capitals coming up with a huge win by a final score of 5-4 in a shootout. For the Caps, Mikhail Grabovski would end a bit of a scoring slump, getting his 4th of the year, assisted by John Erskine, his first assist of the year, and Joel Ward. Then, after Winnipeg took a 2-1 lead, Alex Ovechkin would convert 2 goals, both of which would be assisted by Marcus Johansson. Then, Washington would get a power play goal from Troy Brouwer, assisted by Nicholas Backstrom. For the Winnipeg Jets, their goals would come from Brian Little, who would score a short-handed goal, assisted by Andrew Ladd. Then Grant Klitzum would get his 1st of the year, assisted by Zach Bogosian and Andrew Ladd. Then Blake Wheeler would convert a goal, assisted by Evander Kane and Mark Scheifele. And then Brian Little would get his 2nd of the game, assisted by Andrew Ladd and Devin Setaguchi. So 3 assists on the night for Andrew Ladd. That's 3 assists on the night for Andrew Ladd. In the shootout, a lot of scoring in the shootout. For the Washington Capitals, they would get shootout goals from Nicholas Backstrom, Brooks Laich, Troy Brouwer, and Martin Erat, who, of course, is a 4th-line player, who has a $4.5 million cap hit. He scored the shootout winner. So a big game for him. So a big moment for him and a much-needed one as well. Mikhail Grabovski and Alex Ovechkin would also go for the Caps. They were the first 2 shooters. They both would miss. For the Winnipeg Jets, they would go with Blake Wheeler. They would go with their scores would be Andrew Ladd, Olli Jokinen, and Devin Setaguchi. Blake Wheeler and Brian Little went first. They both missed. And then Evander Kane had to score to keep the shootout going, but could not do it. So congratulations. The Winnipeg Jets actually went first, I believe. Yeah, they went first. Evander Kane could not get on the board, and it allowed Martin Erat to score. So congratulations to the Caps. Braden Holtby was very good, faced a lot of shots, 43 saves on 47 shots, a 915 save percentage. So congratulations to him on that note. For Andre Pavelec, he made 28 saves on 32 shots, an 875 save percentage. So not terrible. The goaltending would not be terrible, but it would not be great. So, but a lot of shots in the game as well. Alex Ovechkin had 7 shots on goal for the Caps. Andrew Ladd and then a lot of shooters for the Winnipeg Jets. Evander Kane, 6 shots. Andrew Ladd, 5 shots. Brian Little, 6 shots. Dustin Byfuglien, 5 shots. Zach Bogosian, 5 shots. And Michael Frolik, 6 shots. So lots of shots on goal for the Winnipeg Jets, but congrats to the Washington Capitals. And last but certainly not least, we have the Calgary Flames and the Phoenix Coyotes in Phoenix. The Coyotes coming up with a huge win at home by a final score of 4-2. So a win they could be satisfied with. They have been very good as of late. Phoenix goals coming from Radim Vrbata on the power play, who, by the way, Radim Vrbata would get his 200th career NHL goal, so great milestone for him on the power play, 5th of the year, assisted by Keith Yandel and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Then Mike Ribeiro would score 2 goals. First one assisted by Michael Bodker and David Moss. Second one assisted by Keith Yandel. And then Rob Klinkhammer would get an empty net goal unassisted. Mike Smith was tremendous 22 saves and 24 shots and 917 save percentage. So a good night for him. For the Calgary Flames, they did tie the game at 2 after the Oats took a 2-0 lead. Their goals coming from Lee Stempniak, assisted by Chris Russell and TJ Gagliardi. And then after that, Joe Colburn would get his first goal of the season and his first in a Calgary Flames sweater, assisted by Jiri Hudler. I believe that is also just his second NHL goal overall. Joey McDonald, he was good, but not good enough to get the win. 29 saves on 32 shots and 906 save percentage. So congratulations to the Phoenix Coyotes on a huge win. And last but certainly not least, folks, we now go to this day in hockey history from October 23rd. In 1998, Mark Messier, who would play for the Vancouver Canucks at the time, became the 10th player in the history of the NHL to score 600 career goals. Mark Messier scored in his whole NHL career 694 goals in regular seasons and added 109 goals in the playoffs. He also goes down as what many people consider to be the greatest captain in the history of our game, and well-deservingly so. And that is it, folks. That will do it for episode 82 of Hockey on the Spot. This has been Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Marenfeld. I'm Brandon Marenfeld. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you, and have a great day.